Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So let's continue. This is the second part of my journey. So at that time I was living in Medan. Like I said before, I always felt I'm a weird person. Like I always felt very disconnected from people, from all people basically. I never felt that I belonged anywhere, which is why it was so easy for me to just go from one place to another. And I never felt I had a home anywhere. But I did feel that I needed to find a place that I could feel like home at. So I did have this longing for a place to call home, and I had this longing for the feeling of just belonging somewhere and having something in this world, because now I just didn't really belong anywhere. So then, one day, one of the ladies of that neighborhood, she came to me in the morning and knocked on my door, and she asked me to come to this event with her. And she said it in Indonesian, but I didn't know what that word meant in Indonesian yet. I had never heard the word ever before, so I didn't know what kind of event it was. But because she was asking me to come with her, so I was like, of course I'll come. And she asked me to put on a scarf to cover my hair, and I was like, okay, I can do that, that's no problem. So I went with her, and it was in one of the houses next to the big masjid. And I came into the house and I saw a lot of women sitting together in a circle, and they were all holding a book. And it turns out that it was an event where they read the Quran together. At that point, I had never heard the Quran to be recited. I had never somehow heard or listened to the Quran ever before, and I didn't even know really that the Quran was read in Arabic with this kind of a like melody like that. I didn't know that before, but I sat there to the circle with them and I started listening, and they were reading the Quran. They were reciting the Quran, and I just sat there and listened. And then something happened. Like I was just looking at these women's faces when they were reciting the Quran. One by one they were reciting, and when I looked at their faces, their face seemed like glowing. Like their face had this strange peacefulness to them. Like they looked really beautiful and peaceful, and they were reciting the Quran with a beautiful voice. They all had amazing voices, and they were just reciting this Quran, and then the melody and the words, even though I didn't understand what was being said, but the words and the melody and something about it, I felt it just hit me. That's what I felt. It hit me. It went straight into my chest, into my heart, and I felt the strike, you know. I felt like it just boom, like that. And I don't know what happened. I don't know even how to explain this whole situation, but tears started coming from my eyes. Like it just wouldn't stop. They would just come boom like that from my eyes, and they would just keep going. I could not stop the tears from coming from my eyes. And then suddenly I could see my life flashing before my eyes. I could just see my whole life story. Like I could just see everywhere I'd been and everything I'd been through, and I could just see my whole life just flash before my eyes. I could see I could see all the events and everything that had happened, and I could see like all this journey I've been, like this journey I've gone through, and I could just somehow, I don't know how it was, but somehow I could just see that, all of that just go in front of my eyes somehow. And then became this womb. And then I felt I was sitting there on the floor in the circle with the women, but I felt like I was 5 years old again. I felt suddenly this, like it was me, Laura, sitting there, but I was 5 years old. The 5-year-old Laura was sitting there in that room, and I felt that I had come like home, and I felt like and I was crying the whole time, like these tears would not stop coming from my eyes. I was just crying, and I felt like I was this 5-year-old me sitting there and crying, and then suddenly I fell to the floor. Like I was sitting on the floor, but I would just like fall like this, my face on the floor, and kept crying on the floor. And I felt this, like I felt this feeling that I was home, and that I've gone all this way, like all the way, everywhere I've been, everywhere I'd like been looking, this is it. Like this is what I've been looking for this whole time, and now I'm here. I have arrived. I felt this closeness to God, and I felt like this, this your childlike self, like when you are 5 years old, your purest self. That's what I felt like. My 5-year-old self was sitting there, and I felt that this was the home that I had always been looking for. Like I had been so lost, going from one place to another for so long, living this life of just doing crazy things and a lot of like very destructive behavior, me trying to numb my emotions and numb my feelings, and trying to fit in and trying to belong in the world and trying to belong somewhere, but never quite being able to belong anywhere. And at this time, in this moment, I felt this belonging like never before. And I felt like I had gone through all this since I was that 5-year-old, playing in the forest, feeling this closest to God. And I felt like I had gone such a long way, and now I had arrived here where I was like where I was meant to be all along. And this was such an amazing moment in my life, and I don't know how to explain it properly, but it was just so strange and so amazing in the same time. And I was like, I don't know how long this moment lasted. I was just crying on the floor, basically, and I could not stop crying. It was just this feeling of everything that I had ever felt was just coming out. Like everything was just coming out. It was just from like in a form of tears from my eyes, and it just wouldn't stop. And then suddenly this ustad of the neighborhood came to the house, because he was supposed to like teach these ladies, and so he came to the house, and I was still crying on the floor. And he asked me like, do you want to become a Muslim? Do you want to convert to Islam? And I said yes. The answer just came. I had no doubts in my mind. I was like, yes, I need to become a Muslim right away, and I don't care about anything. I just need to become a Muslim, and I need to take my shahada. And that, all of that, it just came out of my mouth. I wasn't like, it felt like really clear to me at that point. I need to become a Muslim, and that's it. Okay, so this ustad told me that, okay, we can do your shahada in the masjid, but I want you to tell your parents first. I want you to ask permission from your parents first. And I think this event was on Friday or Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And he said, on Monday, come to the masjid and we will do your shahada on Monday. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't remember what happened after that. I think I went back to my room after the event, or the whole thing was over. I just went back to my room, and I think I cried for the rest of the day. I just cried. I felt everything, just everything. And I was like just so grateful and so glad that I had found this answer. I really felt like I have found the answer that I've been looking for all this time. Anyway, because the ustad asked me to ask my parents, so I called both of my parents and told them that I want to become a Muslim. And shockingly, to my surprise, they were very upset about it. My parents have never ever been controlling whatsoever. Like, they have been always very supportive of me doing anything, all these crazy stuff. Like, I've done a lot of crazy stuff, and I quit my studies. I was traveling, going like from here to there for years, and they never restricted my life in any way. So it came as a huge surprise for me that when I told them that I want to become a Muslim, I want to convert to Islam, they said, no, don't, you cannot do that, don't do that to yourself. And they didn't just tell me don't, they got really angry. They got really angry, both of them. And they don't usually get angry with me, but suddenly they got really angry. And my mom, I remember her sending me a message where she said, like, this is the last nail in your coffin. You're done. Your life is destroyed. Really harsh words from them. But I didn't care. I was like, no, I don't care. I need to become a Muslim. It doesn't matter what they say right now. I know that they will agree with me at some point. I know that I will prove them wrong at some point, and that they will support me in the future. I just knew it. I knew this is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I need to do this. So I didn't care. Alhamdulillah, I took my shahada on Monday, and I became a Muslim. Alhamdulillah. And then the actual journey just started. That time I didn't know much. I had never even read the tafsir of the Quran. I didn't even know exactly what the Quran was saying or anything. I just knew that I needed to be a Muslim. And then the studying started from there. When I took my shahada, then I started really studying about Islam. A couple of days after my shahada, that I started reading the translation of the Quran. I had actually had the translation of the Quran in English in my bag for a long time. Someone gave it to me in England, in the UK, and I had it with me for a long time, but I never opened it. I had never opened it before. But it was a couple of days after my Shahada that I actually opened the book and started reading. And I opened it from somewhere just randomly like this and started reading, and I felt God was talking to me. God was saying all these things. Like, I had a lot of questions about people, about like why certain kind of people are this way. And then when I started reading, it was God answering me, answering all those questions that I had. Like, I had thought of these things, and now God was explaining to me, oh, this is why, and this is how. And I don't even remember which ayat it was, and I don't remember which surah it was. I have no idea. But I just remember like feeling that God is speaking to me, and I was crying again like a baby. I was just crying. I could not stop crying. It was just so amazing. I felt like the same God that I had known from a very young age, that had always been with me, and I had always felt this closeness to Him. Now He was talking to me. He was saying these things to me, and I just felt like, Ya Allah, like, I've known you my whole life. I feel like I've known you, and now you're talking to me. Like, finally I was actually having this conversation with God, and I had been looking for God for a long time. I mean, looking for answers and all this, and now I felt like this is it. You're here. You're home. And home was never a place. Home was never a place. This is your home, and it doesn't matter where you go or where you are. This is your home. All of that I felt, and so much more. When I read the Quran for the first time, or the translation, it was just so amazing. And the journey continues, inshallah. It's been 5 years. I converted to Islam in 2015. So it's been 5 years now, and it has been an amazing journey, and a lot has happened. I hope that I can make a video about my journey after I became a Muslim and what happened in 2020. This year changed my life completely, changed me completely, and I would love to tell you about my journey as a new Muslim, about the hijab and all that, inshallah, on the next video. Thank you for watching this video till the end. This was my story, my journey to Islam. If you found this story inspiring in any way, or if you feel that this story could benefit someone in some way, then do feel free to share this video with them. I am so grateful to have gone through all this. I'm so grateful for all of what has happened, and I'm just so grateful for all the people who have been part of my journey. And as a side note, I just want to say that Alhamdulillah, now my parents do support me as a Muslim, and they are not against Islam anymore. Alhamdulillah, now they are okay with the fact that I am a Muslim, and there's no problem there anymore, Alhamdulillah. So it all turned fine in the end. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah for all of this. Thank you for watching this video till the end. I hope I will see you on my next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.